What's going on? It's Tuesday. So you know what it's time for. It's time for lunchtime learning with me, Stephanie D. McKenzie. Sometimes we call it Teaching Tuesday. Sometimes we call it How to Tuesday. Call it a lot of things, guys. But nevertheless, I am here and I'm glad that you are too. Let me fix myself. I'm looking crooked. And today is a day for green. I think this would have been a great, like, St. Patrick's Day situation, but today it's like we got to have green glasses, we got to have green lips, got to have green trim. It's just a green type of day. So, guess what? Wherever you're coming in from, it's great to see you. Today, we're going to kind of flip this thing on its axis because last week we talked about how AI and why AI made your marketing worse. And today, of course, we need to talk about how to use AI to make your business and your marketing better because many of you are still doing the same things you were doing last week. And so, since you didn't pay attention, I guess I got to repeat myself. What's going on, y'all? My name is Stephanie D. McKenzie. I'm a fractional brand and marketing leader, foundership and entrepreneurship educator. I'm a coach, which for some reason I have been forgetting to say over the last few months, which is so weird, especially because I'm about to launch my newest coaching program. And I'm like, why haven't you been telling people you're a coach? I think because I think most people know it. Nevertheless, never assume. Always make the implicit explicit. So this is me telling you, I'm a coach, y'all, multi-certified at that. But nevertheless, today's live stream is going to be how do we use AI to make our biz, to make our marketing better. If you saw last week, and if not, check it out on YouTube. I think it's on Facebook and all the things, and take a look at why it made your business and your marketing worse, even though it's what everybody is. Well, let me not say everybody. Everybody's not using AI. And even if a lot of people are using it, everybody's not using it effectively and efficiently. And that is why I am here. Because I really want to talk about it. And so today I'm going to be talking about how we make it work for us. And so if you've been using AI, do me a favor, drop in the comments what platforms have you been using? Are you a Perplexity? Are you a Gemini? Are you a Claude? Are you a Chat? Are you in all three and all four? Are you using things that other people don't use? You know, it was really interesting. On Saturday, we had our Founder Mind session, and one of the things that we were discussing, that we always discuss, is what decisions each of the members are making right now. What are they deciding to do to move their business forward and to also move themselves forward? Because I don't know if you understand this, but being a business owner, being a founder, being a leader, whatever, however you describe yourself, however you identify, so to speak, um, it does inherently mean that you need to take care of yourself. And I don't think that's discussed enough. I don't think that it is emphasized enough, because you got a lot of bro marketing people walking around here just saying raise your prices or make, Hormozy style videos and you're going to go to eight figures. You're not. You're not. You could do all of that. And that's what's happening. You could do all of that. You could deploy all the content. You can have AI making all the things, and it's still not working the way it used to work. And so I think what we have to understand is that ultimately everything that we have available to us are tools. Just because you have a hammer and some bricks does not mean you can build a house. Now, there are some people that can do that. But most people, just because they have a hammer and some bricks, cannot build a house. You still need the plan. You still need the strategy. You need permits. Okay. You're going to need other tools. You're going to need to know how to use the tools. If you've never lifted a hammer and you start beating on bricks backwards, right? Or you just stack bricks and you don't put anything between them, very soon you're going to have a structure that probably won't be sustainable. And that's what's happening with a lot of business owners, right? So I don't know where you're coming in from. I see comments over here. I don't have mine scrolling. We are indeed back. I am green on the scene today, y'all. I mean, oh my goodness. I never wear these glasses, which is obvious because they are sitting crookedly. I don't know. Anyway, so, or maybe my head's just crooked. Possibly. Is my head crooked, y'all? Probably. And my neck is so tight, y'all. I went back to lifting twice a week, and my traps are like, get over here. For those of you who don't know what traps are, they're right in here. And for those of you who know me personally, you know that I have a very limited range of motion in my neck, courtesy of some scoliosis, a few wrecks, And the last wreck where one of my girlfriend's car was rear-ended while we were parked, and I didn't know it was going to happen. Me thinking not bracing was a good thing. It's not. When you don't brace, your head just goes all over the place. So, nevertheless, we do what we can and we keep it moving. So let's talk about this. Like, we know you all are using AI. Many of you are using AI, and I think that's great. But how do you use it? How do you use it effectively? Well, the first thing I want to tell you is that every platform does something differently. And so I understand that there are some people that are just like, oh my God, Claude is the best thing ever. Claude is the best thing ever for certain things. When I first started using Claude, I tried to use Claude to be an improvement over ChatGPT, and it wasn't. I now know what Claude does well. I know what Gemini does well. I know what Chat does well. I know what I'm missing one. I know what Perplexity does well. I know what Hey Jen does well. And Hey Jen is something that I use for creating videos and whatnot. And I can tell you what it did do well. It doesn't still do well. And Pictory and on and on and on. But here's the other kicker. What they do well for me may not be what they need to do well for you. And so it's all kind of there's a learning curve in it, right? So, but I can tell you how we can use AI to make your business and your marketing better. And one of the first things that we want to do is understand that when we use AI in place of thinking, when we use AI to mass produce information that we're going to put out to our audiences, we're going to find ourselves in a very interesting conundrum. Very interesting conundrum. Because as I said to you last week, the reason why your marketing got worse, the reason why it didn't improve your business substantially is because in the midst of pumping out all this content, you're saying, write me an article. You're saying, make me a flyer. You're saying, make me a this. And what is happening is that the AI platform is taking the information that it has, homogenizing it, because that's what it does, and just shooting you out a version of what it's making for everybody else. So here you go, off to LinkedIn, off to Facebook, off to Insta, thinking, man, I've got my content all ready for the month. And you don't, because the foundation isn't there. It has to be there. You cannot turn AI into your strategist, even though many people are saying that you can. AI is not magic. It is kind of, because you're putting the words in and then things are coming out. It's almost, it could give you, I guess, a bit of a God complex because you're speaking. It's like, let there be flyer, and there's flyer. And it's like, wait. But understanding that without clarity, without strategy, deploying these tools, it's actually got you, and I hate the term hustle, but I'm going to use it. It has you hustling backwards. And that's why business isn't getting better. And that's why the marketing is getting worse, because marketing is about bringing the buyer and the seller together. But in order for you to do that in a way that makes sense for what you offer, your voice has to be clear, which means you have to be clear, which means that the clarity that you're seeking, case in point, you can have the clarity and spit that into AI. Yesterday, I will tell you, I was making something. I was working on promotional, an ad for Founder Mind, right? The program I was telling you about earlier. And I said what I was thinking in terms of a copy point, in terms of copywriting, in terms of messaging, to position this program in front of other people, because we want to grow it, right? We want more founders in taking care of themselves and taking care of business. That's what we want. And so I began to break down the messages that were already out there that I'm getting from those who are in the program. And I put all of that into, I can't remember which platform, because I think I straddled two, and said, who does this resonate with? See, I already had the clarity, so I don't need it coming back telling me about the bleeding and the leaking. What other words? It has some words that I just know on site are absolutely AI. And of course, you train your model to not talk like that. But nevertheless, I'm putting in what I know, and I'm asking it to analyze this. I use AI oftentimes as an analyst. Look at what I have. Look at what we're doing. Tell me why this isn't working, or tell me why this worked. Recently, I went viral on Threads and to the tune of like millions of views. I think I may have mentioned this in one of my live streams. And it was around a what I consider to be a random post on Facebook. My Facebook posts actually go through the threads, and I forget about that oftentimes, about Challenger and something I learned watching a random YouTube documentary on the Challenger explosion. And I just put this up like, oh my God, I need to stop watching documentaries. I just learned that the people were still alive, blah, 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 blah. And it was just a conversation piece on Facebook. It absolutely exploded over on Threads, and I couldn't figure out why. So I took it, I extracted the data, I threw it into, I think, Claude and maybe Gemini as well, and said, why did this track? Why were people gravitating towards this in crazy numbers? And it kind of broke it down for me. And one of the things that I asked was, how could I replicate it? Like, if I wanted to create those type of metrics with intention, how could I take what made this particular post achieve virality happen again? And so it gave me some things, et cetera, et cetera. Have I done those things? No, not really. I don't believe virality is a requirement for having a successful business. Yeah, it's great if you go viral. Yeah, you went viral. And how many people got on your calendar? And how many people reached out? And how many people in your DMs? And how many orders did you get? None. So you just went viral. Okay, great. So again, let's go back to this. So in order to use AI effectively, we want to respect it for what it is and not try to push it into being something that honestly is not. And I know there are people that say, oh, it has no limits. It can be your this and that, and you can deploy your agents and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, yeah, you can do all of those things, but they have to have a base, right? They have to have the foundation. Now, if we're working with me, I'm going to say brand development is a foundation, because for us, brand development is not about pretty colors and all of this. It is literally the foundation for communication, operations, and leadership. That's your business right there. That's your business. And so one of the things that it really helps me do, especially when I'm working on a client, when I'm doing client brand development, one of the things that I really need is data, a lot of it, fast. And there was a time when I used to have to sit in front of the computer and look for these studies and look for emergent trends, and it took hours. One of the things that you can do to use AI to make your business better is to use it for research. Now, Chat and some of the other Perplexity, a lot of them have a function called deep research. Have you used it? Have you used it? Let me know. Have you used it? Because if you haven't used deep research, right? I'm going to put that up for you guys. Some of you use web research because that's really robust in Gemini. But finding deep research, and deep research wasn't always available on Chat. So if you haven't used it, this is what I'm saying, y'all. Deep research, in case it wasn't clear. Right? So deep research function allows me to look at statistics, look at data, look at emergent trends. Just recently, I worked on a client's brand development strategy, and I activated deep research so I could look at emergent trends in their industry, so that I could shape their messaging, so that I could shape their positioning, so that I could use words that were actually resonating with their audiences. Like, people have you out here twisted, believing that brand is just about your colors. And I'm like, oh God, it's so much more than that. This is why companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on brand. They're not just going into Canva, making some stuff and hoping for the best. I will hand most of our clients 10 to 15 pages of information in the brand development phase before we ever go to creative development. I've got a client right now, we're going to creative development. But I spent a fair amount in brand development before we could even do that. All right, holla if you hear me. I love it. I love it. That is a great question. And yes, giving it context often makes things so much better. The more information you can put into the prompt, the easier it becomes. I Hey, what's that for you? Report back. The more information you can put into it. So if I'm wanting you to create um, images, which chat is pretty good at, for me. Now, I'm hearing some people lately say that chat is not giving what it used to give. I know people are leaving chat because of privacy concerns and who they align with. And a really good friend of mine, actually my stylist, sent me a message about that yesterday, and I'd seen it. I'm basically of the mindset that everything you touch at this point that's digital owns you in some shape, form, or fashion. So I'm just going to do what I need to do to get this money. Okay, great. All right, good. So, but for me, if I know that I need a particular image, if I need a particular something, then I will make sure that I give it the context of this is going on LinkedIn, this is going on YouTube, this is going on this. You know, download best practices for YouTube in 2026. Download best practices for YouTube in 2026. Guess who came in? Come here, baby. Come here. Come. You want to come see the people? No, you don't want to come. You just want me to throw the ball? Okay, I'm gonna throw the ball. I'm gonna throw the ball over there. He's like, Ma, that was a crap throw. Actually, because I'm like, my luck, I will throw this and knock everything down in here, and everything's gonna go black, right? Listen, listen. Like people get way too sucked into that because it gives them validation. Like if we can be honest, there's a lot of founders and business owners and even business coaches who are selling validation as a business strategy, and it's not. They want you to be out here buying billboards, raising your prices, doing all kinds of ignorant stuff. And I really didn't want to say stuff, but I'm gonna keep this PG, just so you can flex. And I'm like, flex for whom? You better flex these checks and shut up. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it at this point. You know, abundance is our activism. That's something else I said this Saturday, but I've been saying it probably since about 2020. Abundance is our activism. Get this money. Like I'm not even going to finesse it. I'm going to say, make sure that you increase your business revenue. No, get this money. Okay, get it. Do that. And so the more context you can give it, activating things like web research, deep research, that actually makes the tool even more effective, right? That actually makes the tool even more effective as long as you understand what you really want and where you're going. If you haven't taken the time to put your brand strategy together, your business strategy, if you don't know who your audiences are, and I mean psychographically, demographically, down to how much they make, where they live, and what they drive, what they think, what they believe, and what they value, then you're actually using the tool and giving it limited information, which is why it's spitting back out to you limited results. So oddly, I didn't want to go viral because being on SM always makes me feel so exposed. Honey, you go viral all the time. Virality is about the speed in which you get the views, not the number of views. You always go viral. When you go live, you go viral. I've seen your lives. You amass tens of hundreds of people, on your lives within moments. You're live, bam, here they are. And that's the challenge, right? Most people have already gone viral and they don't even know it. Like you've already gone viral. You don't have to have, 10,000 views to go viral. It's the speed, not the number. So we're talking about context. Another way that you can use AI to make your business better, right? In addition to the research, using deep research, you can use plain research, right? But deep research, where could I put things? Like recently I had one platform look for places that I could put a lot of the content that I create, because I create an obscene amount of content, especially on LinkedIn. And so when I'm creating content, writing articles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'm like, is there someplace else I can put this? Can I get this in front of other people as well? And can we make this seamless? Those are great questions. And something that Claude does well is create something called an artifact. Right now, I have an artifact in Claude that will allow me to take this video. This is Tuesday's video, right? Tuesday's video is going to go into a platform called Opus. Opus is going, once I download it from StreamYard, I'm going to put it into Opus. Opus is going to extract the transcript. It's also going to extract short form content. When I take that transcript, I'm going to cut it, paste it into the artifact that was created in Claude. And Claude is going to write the rest of what I need. based on the vantage point that I need. So it's going to create an article for my LinkedIn newsletter from Stephanie D. McKenzie. It's going to create an article based on learning for the COE. It's going to create a few more other pieces of content, and then I'm done for the week. There you go. There you go. Every time you go live, I would love to see you have an offer that they have to claim right then, either with a comment or whatnot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it could be something simple. Hey, it could be an oil that you're selling. It doesn't have to be a service, right? It could be an oil. It could be a particular towel. Oh my God, I'm coaching. Okay, we'll talk later. Okay, love you. Bye. So, how to do it. So, okay, focus, Stephanie, focus. We're talking about AI. Okay, AI making your business better. But truthfully, that could be something that AI could. So you could research. This is my audience. These are my audiences. I'm about to go live. What could I talk about, and what could I offer them? Oh, is it a one sheet? Cool. You can sell a $7 one sheet. You got 100 people on live. Oh, look, that's $700. All they got to do is download it. Woo, that was easy. Next. Stacks on stacks on stacks. That's so silly. All right, so we've got research. Definitely AI is great for a first draft. I think what I'm seeing is that a lot of people are telling it, make me a flyer, make me an article, make me a caption, make me a whatever. And then that's it. Your first draft and final draft are coming in the same space. That's the problem. Only when I don't care do I put out whatever AI spits out. Like if I just need to like hold space and put the information in there really quickly, cool. Whatever you spit out is what goes out. But a first draft is great. Another thing that I like to do is what I call stream of consciousness, where literally I will say, "Hey, I just need to ramble, and then I need you to turn this stream of consciousness, like I'm just flowing, like I just turn on the text, the voice text function, and I just and then it takes it and puts it into bullet points. That's how I do client reports if they're necessary. That's how I can do reports for me if I'm like really got a lot of things on my mind and I'm just like, okay, ramble. And then it spits out and it puts all that information together and puts it into bullet points. And then I can take it and it actually has form to go somewhere because it floating around in my head isn't helping anybody, right? It's just creating a situation. So exactly, you definitely listen, and even then, like not only do I have to tweak that first draft, right? But sometimes even in the stream of consciousness, I have to tweak it because it has access to a lot of different knowledge bases, but the way it spits out information is very generic, very generic. The formatting is generic. The wording is generic, unless you tell it otherwise. In Gemini, I have a prompt for writing, for copywriting especially, that is formulated by way of you are a Pulitzer Prize award-winning copywriter that never uses AI and that has also written for Fast Company and Black Enterprise. That is a far cry from in the business landscape of 2026. Anytime it starts in the business landscape, when it starts with this but not that. Now, truthfully, I write like that. I do write in 3-part cadences, but even with that, it's still nuanced. I think at this point, people can tell when it's AI and just AI. And I think to a certain degree, I think that can be a little off-putting because you're trying to sell me stuff and you didn't even take the time to get your verbiage correct. You didn't even take the time to align what you're saying, right? With the audience that you're trying to capture. Just saying. But stream of consciousness, oh my God, is so great. If you've got a lot of stuff on your brain, I just go in, I just pick whatever platform and say, hey, I just need to ramble. And then I need you to take my thoughts verbatim and put them into bullet points. Or not verbatim, put them into some sort of shape, form, and function so I can review them. And more often than not, it'll do that. It'll do that for you. Summarizing information, feedback. Just like I was telling you earlier, I wanted to know why that particular post may have had the propensity to go viral. And so I had the platforms tell me that. And a lot of times when I want feedback, I'll go across platforms and then I can compare and say, okay, you said this, but you said this, but you said this, but you said this. Okay. Another function I feel like doesn't get talked about enough are the agentics. And you'll hear people say, oh, I'm deploying AI agents. And it sounds so dramatic, like, oh, beat me up, Scotty. Like it really just sounds so much, but you have that same agentic function in Chat GPT. What I have had it do is outreach. And there are other platforms that can integrate into LinkedIn. If you really get deep into LinkedIn, I'm using another one right now. But for a cursory outreach, I identified the people that I wanted to identify. I had chat log into my LinkedIn profile. It has security measures, but even if it's whatever, y'all. At this point, anything digital pretty much owns us. I had it log into my LinkedIn profile and then reach out to the people that I had already identified as potential prospects for the project that I was working on. Now, I'm doing this in the midst of having an operations manager who is a human. I don't have an operations manager that's an AI agent. I'm doing this in the midst of having humans that I can work with. So don't forsake it. Don't forsake it. You still need humans. Humans are still valuable. There are some things that you need a human to do. I just spent the last few days watching Paradise with the illustrious Sterling K. Brown, who just seems like a really cool guy. Like, oh my gosh, like I dig his energy. He's so dope. Shout out to his wife. She's in there too. I'm like, you always get that good cameo. I love that for you, girl. You can go to work with your man. That's awesome. So, spent the last few days watching Paradise seasons 1 and 2, right? Because now I have to prepare for season 3. And what I took from that in the midst of the storyline, and I'm team no spoilers, but what I took from watching that, especially binging it, is that at the end of the day, we still need each other. No matter how high the tech gets, no matter how amazing and the advancements are, the non-human advancements and the quantum this and the that, we still need each other, humans. And if you think about it, that's really the real war. Yeah, I know there's things going on in all parts of the world, but the real war is a war on our humanity, is the war on our human connections. I feel like I'm about to like digress. So I'll just hold that. Just hold that one, right? But I mean, I can't say it enough, you know. We need each other. We need it. We need each other. No matter how good your AI is. Like, we need each other. No matter how great the tech is, no matter high tech, or higher tech or highest tech, we still need each other. And I don't know any other way to say it but to say we need each other. And any attempt to divide us is taking us away from each other. If you think about it, the last 2 years, has it been 2, y'all? You know what I'm talking about. There's been more division. Like the real weapon of mass destruction is division. Remember, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And even though, yes, we all have different belief systems and we all see things differently, even when it comes to AI, we see it differently. Some people are like, oh my God, it's gonna take over. And then some people are like, oh, not quite, but you're just saying that because you're afraid of new things, and we get it. But if you think about it, the real weapon of mass destruction, yeah. Random snap to my furry child. Hello, baby. The real weapon of mass destruction is division. It's the assault on our humanity. And so even as I'm sitting here telling you, this is how you can use technology, you can use AI to make your business better, to make your marketing better, to make your life better. You know, I have AI threads that are about my vitamin stack and what I need to put in it and emergent trends. and what I need to take out of it. Did I? I didn't know I was overdosing on vitamin B. I just kept reading stuff and not paying attention. But chat knew, and that's great because yeah, that's vitamin B. No, well, really, no supplement do you really want to overdose on, but nevertheless, I think also another area, which is going to sound counterintuitive, but just rock with me for a second, is replication. It's replication, y'all. Because yes, I do have AI twins. I did create them in HeyGen. Now, I will tell you, HeyGen used to be tremendous at AI twins. Now, not so much. So I may have to pick that up in Synthesia or whatever. Why do I need an AI twin? I need an AI twin because I don't always feel like doing this. I don't always have the time to sit here and talk in real time. Doesn't mean that I don't have a message. I'm not shy. I'm not any of those things. Just sometimes I don't have the time. And so the AI twins in replication give me my time back. Yay. Um, but at the end of the day, the best way to use AI to make your business better, to make your marketing better, even to make your life better, right? Because you definitely don't want AI to make it. Think about how crazy it is that you would sit there and you would, plug things into this high-tech platform, and it would spit out things that you've asked for that make everything worse, that cause you not to connect with the people that you're trying to connect with and serve. Like, that's counterintuitive. So what does that mean, Stephanie? That means at the end of the day that we got to keep the human part front and center, right? Point. But you got to keep the human part front and center. Um, you've got to have your positioning. You definitely want to keep your judgment intact, the connections intact, your offers intact. And, if anything, if you want to run through AI and see, these offers resonate with, take your copy that you've been putting out into the world and throw it into AI and say, hey, I want you to talk to me as oh, that's the other thing. Making sure that your AI doesn't cheerlead or affirm. Oh, because by the way, if you don't teach your model to do that, it'll always tell you you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Ask it explicitly not to cheerlead or affirm, to be an unbiased analyst of the information that you're giving to it. Please, pretty please with sugar on top. Train your model to do that. So that when you take something that you've been putting out into the ether and you feel like it's landing, but maybe it's not landing like it should, or maybe it used to land and now it doesn't, you have something you can put in there and it will give you an unbiased, unaffirming, if that's a word, analysis of where this is landing. Because what may be happening is that you're talking on a level that you're trying to get away from. So maybe it worked previously because you were talking at this level and a lot of people were like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But now you're trying to get to this level. And so your language, your messaging needs to elevate, your visuals need to elevate, your value proposition needs to elevate. I say all the time, people that are doing 6 figures a year don't have the same problems as people doing 8 figures a year, or at least they don't communicate them the same way. Okay. So I got a question for you guys, whether you're watching this live or you're catching on the replay. Is your AI making your business better? Or are you just producing more stuff that may or may not resonate with your intended audiences? I'll go first. It depends on the day. I, I think that is making things better. But I do know, as I go back and I look at some of the things that have landed, look at some of the things that haven't, I do realize that sometimes our messaging, because I'm an educator by default, right? So I always want you to learn and grab hold to this, that, and the third. And so I think that sometimes I get lost in the sauce and I don't communicate on the level that I'm seeking to serve. I do. Now, of course, we have a variety of levels, but I know where I want us to be. I know the level that I'm seeking to serve, and so contingent upon what I'm putting out there. Like if I'm talking about founder mind, that's cool. That's early stage to growth stage. That's fine. Even win worthy, which will be my new coaching program that I haven't even launched yet. That's going to be more growth stage. And then, of course, fractional is growth stage and scale. And so, in that, knowing, okay, so what I can't afford to do is to put out fraction. If I can't put out a fractional offer with language that is talking to early stage, because most early stage founders, most early stage founders, unless they've done this a lot of times, aren't ready for a fractional engagement. They're just not. So that's the thing that I always have to be mindful of, because sometimes I just want to teach it. Like, let me just tell you, let me tell you what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like even what I'm saying to you now, somebody who is adept with AI, who is deploying agents and whatever, everything that I'm saying to them, they already know. In fact, they may have other things to say back to me. Like, I could elevate this conversation, but I don't want to, because this should be middle of the road. This should be for anybody who needs it. And so that's the other thing that the artifact does. Speaking of which, the artifact in Claude will take the transcript of this live and then elevate it so that someone who is a CXO or a decision maker will see themselves in what I've communicated. So it's going to take what I'm saying that's on kind of a whomever needs it level, and then put it and help it, I guess, go high level in terms of language and the problems that it is solving. So again, the different platforms do different things. You get to figure out which ones do the best things for you. Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns. I do want you to put a few things on your calendar. And while I'm doing that, let me just remind y'all, because I didn't do it. Today's live stream is brought to you by Tractionista. Get your free audit at tractionista.com. That is helmed by Amanda Harris. She's a PMP, Lean Six Sigma. She got all the letters after her name. And so when she's talking about traction, she's not talking about likes and comments. She's talking about activities and actions that actually move the needle and that impact your bottom line. So make sure you check her out at tractionista.com. And then also you're going to see a little commercial from my good friend. I hate it when I say little. Y'all know I don't mean, I'm not trying to minimize, right? Over at the Vault, Lynette Beeman, who's also my esthetician. And so although she's probably going to be like, now, I haven't been in for a facial in a while. Y'all, I have a sensitivity to hyaluronic acid. Don't ask. And everything has hyaluronic acid in it. So, but she still works with me, y'all. She does virtual estheticianery. Yeah, I just made that word up. And so I'm super duper grateful every time. Super duper grateful. But she's also a nurse. And so she understands more than just skin. She is about your body, your health, your wellness, and just being a whole person overall. That is what it's like to go into the Vault. It is intentional, it is meaningful, and it is an experience that everyone should have in East Texas. So if you're in East Texas, make sure you look up the Vault. So that being said, I think I'm going to get out of here. I've got a client at about 1:00. At the end of the day, if I can serve and support you in any way, I'm happy to do so. Please make sure you check out stephaniedmckenzie.com. You can learn more about our fractional services. And if you want to know more about Winworthy, put Worthy in the comments. If you want to know more about Founder Mind, by all means, put Founder Mind in the comments. And I'll let you know a little secret. Sometime this week, a secret offer may come out that allows you to join Founder Mind for much less. So be on the lookout for that, guys. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Oh, and don't forget, Friday, 11:00, we have a class in the TOE. It's a course right for your business, taught by Dr. Katrina Mitchum. Almost forgot about that. And then next week I'm teaching on the 9th how to entrepreneur, even if you've done it for years. So make sure you check us out at luma.com/THECOE. All together, THECOE. Anyway, my name is Stephanie D. McKenzie. I am a fractional brand and marketing executive. I'm also a foundership and entrepreneurship executive and educator, and I'm a multi-certified coach. And for those of you who didn't know, and you know what? I'm just going to thank you guys for learning with me and let you get back to your lunch. Talk to you later. Bye.
Have you been on a weight loss journey and the scale just isn't giving you the results you hoped for? Well, meet Thinner, an FDA-registered, all-natural, homeopathic approach that addresses the root causes of how to lose weight and keep it off, especially if hormones are an issue. If you're tired of all of the guesswork and doing it alone, scan the QR code for more info and let's get you started today.